How's it going, everyone? Rosalind here. So Ys X Proud Nordics recently received a Western release announcement for early next year, which is good timing because we recently just finished a 100% playthrough of Ys X Proud Nordics on stream, twitch.tv/RosalindGaming if you want to come by and hang out. As such, I thought I'd go over everything that has been added and changed to this upgraded release of Ys X so that you know whether or not it's worth picking up when it releases. Now, the way I'm going to structure this video is in two parts. Part 1, which will consist of the majority of the video, will be me going over all the changes and additions to Ys X Proud Nordics. And then part 2 will be a very brief section in which I'll just go over whether or not I think it's actually worth it to pick up or not. Finally, before we get into the video, I do just want to let you know that I am now partnered with Figgies. If you want to know more about the video game and anime pixel art collectibles that they offer and support the channel at the same time, be sure to stay tuned to the end of the video to hear more. So let's start with the biggest addition to Ys X Proud Nordics, as many of the other changes stem from it, and that is the newly added explorable island, Oland Island. Overall, Oland Island is fairly large, at least for Ys X standards, and you will explore it throughout the entirety of Ys X Proud Nordics, as exploration of the island is gated behind main story progression. Essentially, after certain main story milestones, you'll receive an EX side quest that sends you to Oland Island in order to progress the side quest story, as well as explore the island even further. That being said, the story of Oland Island is entirely separate from the main story of Ys X, in that the events there don't affect the main story at all. What they do provide is some added background on the Normans' history, such as why they were forced to leave their original lands in the far north, among other things. Oland Island is also where you will meet the two new characters to Ys X Proud Nordics, Canute and Astrid. Both are Normans hailing from the Kingdom of Denmark, with Canute being a mana user and Astrid his shield brother. As you work your way through Oland Island, you will learn about who these two are, as well as their relationship to Karja. It should be noted though that these two are not playable characters. They only serve as NPCs for furthering the progression of Oland Island and its facilities. Speaking of which, let's go over exactly what you do on Oland Island and how progression through it actually works. As previously stated, after certain main story progression milestones, you'll get an EX side quest pertaining to Oland Island. After that, simply fast travel there and find Canute and talk to him, after which the next area of the island will become available for exploration. In total, Oland Island consists of 5 major areas, each with an open area to explore as well as a small dungeon culminating in a boss fight and a new runestone at the end. There are of course a plethora of enemies to fight, treasure chests to open, and buried treasure to find in each area as well. Upon seeing the cutscenes for reading the runestone at the end of a given area, that part of the island story will be complete. You then continue with the main story of Ys X until the next EX quest is given. While Canute is who you talk to for the island's story progression, Astrid serves another purpose. After unlocking the initial main area to the island and being introduced to both Canute and Astrid, you'll gain access to a Colosseum, which you can access by talking to Astrid. At the Colosseum, you can choose to fight as a pair with Adol and Karja, fight alone as just Adol, or fight alone as Karja, each providing their own set of rewards. Then, after unlocking a few areas of Oland Island, you'll also gain access to mana ride races. Just like with the Colosseum, you can do these by talking to Astrid. Each race is set in a different part of the island and pits you against both Karja and Canute as you try to not only win, but win quickly for increased rewards. Which brings us to the reward structure of Oland Island. By exploring the island, opening chests, and taking on the Colosseum and races, you'll get a bunch of extra resources of basically every type. There are also newly added treasure maps and a bunch of extra empty bottles as well. Oland Island is also the primary location for acquiring 2 new resources added to Ys X Proud Nordics. One of these are lightning crystals and the other is golden sand. These lightning crystals are mainly found from rare spawn enemies. These enemies will have a red glow to them and are much stronger than normal enemies. You can technically find them elsewhere in the game outside of this island after the initial tutorial introducing them, but the chance of encountering them is significantly higher on Oland Island. These lightning crystals can be used as experience towards mastering skills for both Adol and Karja, and they can also be used to rank up already mastered skills, increasing the skill's damage potency. As for the golden sand, this is a much more plentiful resource, especially around Oland Island, and is used for leveling up your artifacts. You can increase things such as the damage of mana burst, or the duration of mana sense, or even how fast you move during mana ride. And speaking of artifacts, a new artifact has been added to Ys X Proud Nordics that you acquire while exploring Oland Island. It's a claw sort of thing that lets you grab specific objects in the game world and pull them to you, after which you can put it down where you stand or launch it away from you. For the most part, this artifact is used to solve puzzles by taking special blocks and arranging them such that you can use them to get to previously inaccessible areas. Finally, Oland Island is the sole non-DLC method of obtaining a new type of mana seed, colorless mana seeds. As their name implies, colorless mana seeds have no color associated with them, so they don't contribute to the bonuses you get for having multiple red, blue, yellow, or purple mana seeds equipped. In exchange though, they provide a significantly higher amount of raw stats. The tier 3 luck one for example provides a whopping 50 luck. You'll get access to these colorless mana seeds automatically as you progress through the island, and you'll also find some of them inside treasure chests on the island as well. And with that, we've covered just about everything there is to know about the newly added island to Ys X Proud Nordics. So now let's go over the other additions to the game. There's not a lot, so this is going to go pretty quick. The sandworm boss that you fight early on has had its second phase adjusted to allow for more opportunities to block its attacks, providing more windows to deal damage. In addition to these ship battles triggered by entering the red glowing areas in the base game, there are now yellow ones. By completing these ship battles triggered from these yellow areas, you unlock more of those wind lines that help you sail through the world more quickly. There is now also a toggle that lets you show how many collection points are left in a given area next to the minimap rather than needing to bring up the actual map to see this information. New high-level enemies have been added that appear near the end of the game. Each one is level 90 and provide a huge amount of lightning crystals for leveling up skills. Additionally, a new max level boss has been added as well. At level 99, this makes it the highest level enemy in the game. All of the original game's cosmetic DLC is now included, and of course, being a modern day video game, a bunch of new DLC can also be purchased. In the settings menu, you can now turn off blood for the handful of scenes that actually have it. And finally, you can now choose between performance mode or graphics quality mode. So that's everything that has been added and changed in Ys X Proud Nordics. If you were to ask me if I think this version of Ys X is worth it or not, my response would be, maybe? It really depends on a couple of factors. If you've played the original version of the game, then honestly, I don't think Proud Nordics is worth it. I did mention at the beginning of the video that the new island is fairly large, but that is in the context of Ys X. It's fairly large when compared to the other explorable areas in the main game. But Proud Nordics is a full price release, and the actual amount of content that has been added is what you would normally expect to come from a $10 or so DLC. And honestly, it could have easily been just that, given that much of what has been added is completely detached from the main game. That all being said, if you've never played Ys X, then this is the version to get with one major caveat. That caveat being if you are a collector of physical releases, as Proud Nordics has no physical release, not even in Japan. Your options are to get the game digitally on PC or Nintendo Switch 2, or via a Nintendo Switch 2 scam keycard. That's it. All in all, I felt kind of disappointed with Proud Nordics. That's not to say it was bad. Ys X is a fun game and therefore Proud Nordics is also fun, but I couldn't help but feel like there should have been more to this updated release, especially given that it is full price. So yeah, if you've already played Ys X, then I can't really recommend Proud Nordics. But if you haven't played Ys X, then this is the version of the game to get unless you want a physical version, in which case your only option is the original. Fuck game keycards, by the way. And that will do it for this video going over all of the changes and additions to Ys X Proud Nordics. If you found this video helpful and informative, please be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you'd like to support the channel further and get yourself some awesome video game and anime pixel art collectibles, then head over to figgies.com where you can purchase collectible magnet figures from a bunch of your favorite video game and anime series. These are honestly pretty darn cool. You get a retro-style magnet figure, a reversible metal backplate, and then both a stand and magnet sticker for display. New figures are released in batches all the time. For example, there are figures from Atlas titles such as Metaphor, Persona 5 Royal, SMT 5 Vengeance, and Persona 3 Reload. If these seem like something you'd want to pick up, then be sure to use my code RosalindFiggies at checkout for 5% off any purchase of $50 or more. And of course, if you have any questions about this video, Ys X, or any other game that I cover, you can always hit me up over on Twitch at twitch.tv/RosalindGaming or my Discord server, both of which you can find links to in the video description below. Until next time, take care.